Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, our fellow lovers out there, and welcome, and thank you for joining us. And I plugged this in all wrong this time, like that. Right, there we go. It's always something at the beginning of these shows, isn't it?
It's always something. We have to fire our intern.
Wait a minute. We could get one. Maybe that would help. No, that's what happens when I throw the studio together in a few minutes. I'm too fast at it, so I wait. And now, anyway, it's my own fault. But you know, what do you want to do? At least I admit my fault, so I will work on that. We're professional around here. We are. But as we are here tonight to discuss Christmas, because it's that Christmas time of year, and you can see we've got the ugly Christmas sweaters. Oh, yeah.
Mine is a kitty cat in a Santa hat. It's cute with glasses. Very festive, sparkly.
And let me see. You blocked yours with your screen, but mine's Darth Vader. I take off the thing. We'll run the.
It used to have flashing lights.
It's got one. Look, this one works. This one, and sometimes this one does. They came back alive the other day. There it goes. But these ones don't. There's 3 more that don't. I don't know. Darth Vader's half dead, I guess. But he never used 2 lightsabers either, so. Anyway, it's not like historically accurate. The Darth Vader as Santa isn't really historically.
Well, that's why it's an ugly Christmas sweater.
It is. It's an ugly Christmas sweater. But it's also, people like this Christmas sweater. So it's one of those ugly, likable Christmas sweaters.
It is.
So there you go. So it's that Christmas time of year where people spread joy in various ways. Hey, and next week I get this thing off tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, technically speaking.
Your cast.
Yeah, this stinking thing finally gets to come off. So next week for Christmas, I don't have a cast.
Yay!
Yeah, I finally get this thing off of me, unless I break my wrist again or arm again, which my luck is entirely possible. All right, so we are here to talk about Santa Claus and Christmas traditions and where they come from, and how to make new ones. You don't have to follow old traditions. We all have the freedom to choose our own Christmas traditions, and if that means we make new ones, then we make new ones. That everybody gets to do their own thing, and we all get to decide kind of what's right for us and for our families and I think that's the glorious thing about this time of year, is we all get to share and spread our love for our fellow man, our families,
in any way we choose to do it, or not.
Yeah, that is the and if you're not even necessarily a bah humbug Christmas person, we won't go there. But even if you're someone who's doesn't get into the Christmas spirit, that's okay. There's no law that says you have to enjoy Christmas. It's okay.
Yeah, not everyone celebrates Christmas, believe it or not.
And some people go out of the way to not celebrate Christmas for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's all right. Don't let everybody else celebrate and it make you feel bad that you don't. It's fine. Lots of people do lots of things that other people don't. And, you have your reasons. You don't have to justify them to anybody. Not even yourself. Just be yourself. All right. So, but what do we have?
Well, we have a plethora of Christmas information.
Okay.
Some is very tantalizing. We're going to start off with some fun facts about Santa Claus.
We are all Santa Claus. That's the wonderful thing. But
yes, my middle daughter told me today I'm the one who makes the Christmas magic, and that really warmed my heart.
So we are all Santa Claus. That's the thing about the Christmas spirit. That's the thing about Santa Claus. Santa Claus, that's why his home is in the North Pole. It's a place that doesn't exist. Right? The North Pole doesn't actually exist. It exists in our imaginations, in our spirits. And so is Santa Claus real? Yeah. Every person who on Christmas Eve goes out and sneaks a present under a tree or drops it off at a friend's house, or all the various ways we share our Christmas love, is Santa Claus. The fat man with the beard and the jolly laugh and the silly costume, it's like a superhero. It's a representation. It's not about him. It's about the rest of us. So he can come down a chimney that we don't have. So, all right, let's get started.
Okay, everybody knows, number one, his real name is St. Nicholas, but that he was a Turkish bishop.
Uh-huh.
Yes. He has a lot of other names. Santa Claus, Sinterklaas is where Sinterklaas, which is Dutch, is where it comes from. He's also known as Father Christmas, Kris Kringle, Christmas Man in Germany, and Grandfather Frost in Russia.
Grandfather Frost. That's cool. His sleigh's insanely fast. It breaks the speed of all kinds of things. So
he doesn't always go down chimneys.
Which
we know that.
We know this for true.
He became famous in a poem, The Night Before Christmas, in 1823.
Ooh, we should do a reading of that next week.
I would love to.
You're gonna have to remember.
I give a very dramatic reading.
All right, we'll do that next week.
Cool.
All right.
Coca-Cola is the one who designed the red outfit.
The fat man matches their red colors. Makes sense. Advertisers. Always advertisers, isn't it?
No one's quite sure where he lives. It's the North Pole, but where?
Yeah, because the North Pole doesn't actually exist.
All your letters go somewhere.
All letters are sent to one post office in a town called Santa Claus in Indiana. The USA only writes third most letters to Santa. The second most come from Canada. And the most are written by children in France. Wow. More letters written in Canada than the United States? It's like must be every kid in Canada must be writing these letters. Because there's the United States has 10 times more people than Canada. So that's wow. Because Canada is the same size as, population-wise as California. Roughly.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I'm saying.
It must be a big tradition. It used to be a big tradition here. My girls did.
Yeah, but once we got to emails, man, our kids don't write no more.
That's true.
American kids, we adapt to technology quickly. That's what our kids do here.
And there is online. You can get letters from Santa sent to your children. Look into it. Mm-hmm. Okay, he needs a few more reindeer. That sleigh is way too heavy. We all know that. It's magic. He has a pilot's license and a passport. Cool.
There's no Santa in Iceland?
He was issued a pilot's license by the U.S. government in 1927. And in 2013, Canada officially gave Santa a passport, making him a Canadian citizen.
A passport from Santa Claus. All right. So
there is no Santa in Iceland?
No, they have 13 Santa Clauses, known as Yule Lads. They're merry and mischievous and give good children sweets and bad children rotting potatoes. So they don't get corn; they get rotting potatoes. I mean, at least coal is something useful. You can keep yourself warm with burning coal, right? What the hell are you going to do with a rotting potato?
Plant it? I don't know.
Maybe you can plant it. It's good for fertilizer, I suppose. It helps with the.
Okay, now here are some of the names: pot scraper, door slammer, spoon licker, and sausage swiper.
And yes, they are named after what they do best. Sausage swiper. That's called dad. Spoon licker is called child. Door slammer is teenager. And the pot scraper is mom. So there we go. There, we've got that one discovered. There's the family right there. That's you just explained that one. All right. Now, of course, you could have switched the spoon licker and the pot scraper could swell. It could be mom and child, but either way, you've got 4. Okay. You can track his progress.
You can track his progress on NORAD. I do it every year. It's on Facebook. Just type in NORAD and it'll come up. It's pretty freaking cool. You can track it Christmas Eve.
So before Santa Claus,
as he goes over the world, and they give you different that you check in. I check in like every hour, and they give you what country he's in, and they give you information about that country. You can learn about different countries. It's pretty cool.
No. Well, he has a Scandinavian variant because before Santa became popular in Scandinavia, their Christmas figure was the Yule goat.
Ah, that explains the goats that I have that my Danish grandmother used to send me. I'm 60 years old. I've been around these freaking straw goats all my life, and I had no idea.
Now you know that they're Yule goats. That's what they are. The magical goat.
I thought they were reindeer. They're goats.
The magical goat would wander around making sure people were preparing for Christmas and demanding presents, like a reverse Santa Claus. So, like goats.
Yes.
Yeah. So coal wasn't always a present.
Wasn't an awful present, of course. You keep warm.
And that's what I always posted out. In the olden days, it was actually quite a good present. Yeah, Christmas coal is when Scrooge wouldn't let Bob put another bit of coal in the fire. Yeah. So it's what I mean. Coal is a useful thing, but it just wasn't fun. Kids didn't like getting coal in their stockings because, well, how fun is getting coal in your stockings? But for your family, hey, man, it's a couple days of heat or dinner cooking or whatever it is, right? So it was a valuable present. It's just you're 9. What the hell do you want with coal? So that's what that's about. All right. And then once we got indoor heating and all that stuff, we don't need coal anymore. Now it's a bad present. All right, Mrs. Claus, he has a wife.
The first time she was mentioned was in 1849 in a short story. But she didn't become a popular figure until 1889 when she starred in a poem called Goody Santa Claus on a Sleigh Ride.
Tells you how old this stuff is, right? 1849. And that's when Mrs. Claus was mentioned. 1889. When Goody Santa Claus was her big
what made her popular? She wasn't
popular.
Really popular for 40 years.
But that's 130 years ago. Santa was banned in the Soviet Union. Capitalist swine.
Why am I not shocked?
Yeah, well, it's capitalist swine. Odin was kind of the original Santa. So, for Thor's dad. So there you go. For those of you Marvel fans. Odin was Santa Claus. So there you go. You can tie it all into your Marvel universe. Now you can get Santa Claus into the Marvel universe. There you go. There's your next Marvel movie. It's
Thor. Santa of Thunder.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, who knows? Santa Claus gets to. Well, see, that explains how he can circle the world in a night. Mexican children send their letters with balloons. There you go. Spanish children get their presents delivered in an interesting way. In their Catalan region. Catalan?
Mm-hmm.
Children paint a log with a face. It's called a... Oh, God.
Tio de Nadala.
Thank you. They offer it for food and keep it warm with a blanket. And then they put the log in the fire and beat it with sticks to make it poo out presents. It's like, what 7-year-old boys invented this? That's what I want to know. Because that's what that is. He had to go at politics. In North Pole, Alaska, a man legally changed his name to Santa Claus and was elected to city council. See, there you go. So Santa Claus was a city councilman, at least at one time, in North Pole. So how's that, legally speaking? That's silly, but, we get to do what we want. I do what I want. It's like Cartman. I do what I want. I guess Santa Claus was Cartman. Become city councilman in North Pole just to annoy people. You must respect my authority. Well, it's better than Darth Vader being Santa Claus, I suppose, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So what we got next?
Okay, we got a couple facts about Christmas trees. Each year, 30 million American families enjoy a real Christmas tree.
Uh-huh.
And on the average, it takes Christmas trees 7 years to reach their standard height. And there are 8 types of Christmas trees you can grow. And there are 17,000 Christmas tree farms.
17,000, and don't feel guilty because these aren't forests that people are chopping down for these trees. These are crops.
Yes.
Yeah, they're crops.
They're sustainable crops. Yeah.
Yeah, they plant more trees than they harvest.
Yeah, they do.
Because you know what they need? They need trees for next year and the year after that and the year after that. And if cut down all the trees and don't replace them, they won't have any trees. So in order for their business to sustain, they need to keep planting trees.
Yes. Okay, last one. The first written record of a decorated Christmas tree is from Latvia in 1510. It was decorated with artificial roses. In the 1800s, German settlers brought the Christmas tradition to the U.S.
And so the top Christmas tree production states, I'd actually be surprised. Michigan, North Carolina, Oregon doesn't surprise me. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, I suppose Wisconsin doesn't surprise me. And Washington. I would think Washington would be higher on the list. Unless he did the list alphabetically, not by production, which is what it looks like. I would have listed it by production. So anyway, I would think Oregon and Washington would have a lot. And if you get it early, make sure you take care of your tree. Make sure you water that thing a lot and put its special food in there and all that. Otherwise, you're going to have a bonfire in your front house, in your living room. And nobody wants that around Christmas time. All right. Now, what else we got, Lubby? We got unusual Christmas traditions that you don't know of?
That I haven't looked into these, to tell you the truth.
All right. So this is going to be fun.
I know about the first one,
Uh-huh.
Christmas demons in Austria. Now, naughty children on the naughty list will be punished by St. Nicholas or Santa's evil counterpart, Krampus. A half-goat demon. Apparently, on December 5th, men dressed as Krampus parade in the streets carrying chains and baskets that are meant for abducting bad children. Good heavens.
Krampus, that's a great video game name to use as your video game character. Krampus. Just saying. That's a great one. Poop-related traditions in Catalonia?
There's a tradition of the defecating log.
Is that the same thing as beating the log again?
And the log will be sent out as gifts. Starting 2 weeks before Christmas, families create a character out of a wooden log and feed the log with nuts, fruit, and sweets. Oh, so it's a fruit cake, but they call it poop.
Well, yeah, because then they beat it. Anyway, it's another one of these beating the log things. I don't understand, but okay. We'll just accept that's what they are. Deck the halls with spider webs in Ukraine.
I have a few friends who totally get into that.
Yeah, of course, with the new lights, you don't want spider webs to explode your Christmas tree. So you have to be careful. All right. Radish carvings in Mexico.
So why radishes?
Reddish.
Some say that this tradition began when a few monks brought some extra large radishes to the Oaxaca Christmas market in the mid-1700s. Later in 1897, the mayor of Oaxaca City started the radish carving competition as a way of attracting more people to the Christmas market. So it's promotion.
Radish. Well, hey, that's unique, right? Who the heck would think of having a promotion with radishes?
I know.
And so, hey, why not? Knock it. Killer cat. Hey, they met our cat. And the book given in Iceland. So apparently in Iceland is new clothes because you don't get one. The Yule cat will come and eat them. So you need to get new clothes on Christmas. Otherwise, the cat will come and eat you. The Yule cat.
A Yule cat.
It's like a Yule goat, but different.
And it's also a tradition for Icelanders to give each other a book during Christmas.
A book?
Well, yeah. It's Jólabókaflóð.
Yeah, one of the few things that weren't rationed.
Meaning Christmas flood of books.
It's because they weren't rationed in World War II, so it became the most affordable gift. And so it was one of those things where the tradition sticks around because it's now a tradition. That's sometimes how traditions start. We forget why we start them, but we just keep doing them because. My mom tells a story about someone who told a story, and I forget what it was. Their mother used to cook a roast, right? And she'd cut off the ends, put it in a pan, and cook it in the oven. So the girls, when they're older, were cutting the pan and putting it in the oven. So why do we cook this way? I don't know. My mom always cooked this way. And so why do we cook this way? So she went and asked her grandmother, because that's the size pan I had. There was nothing special about the recipe about cutting off the ends. It's the size pan she had. But her daughter, that was the way she was taught to cook, to prepare and cook it. So that's what she did, even though they now have a big enough pan and big enough oven to cook it however they want. But that's just how I was taught. And so it's, traditions are strange things. You don't always know why they start or why they're around. But it's, sometimes they're kind of wonderfully silly.
Yes, they are. Speaking of silly, I'd like to talk about some fun Christmas party activities.
All right, Christmas party activities.
Yes. Okay, the first one.
Okay, but before we go about Christmas party activities, I want to know what kind of person goes to a Christmas party. I can actually honestly say I've never really been to a Christmas party.
Really?
No, I mean, I went to a work one once, but it's only because I felt I had to. I would have preferred to have gone and take a nap. Frankly, I would have preferred to have kept working, but
it's fun. It's team building.
Yeah, sure. Except for those that don't want to be there. And half of those that do want to be there only want to be there because they're getting out of work.
At least they're putting in an effort.
I showed up. What do you want from me? All right. So what are your activities that you...
Well, we used to do this one in a family I was in. White elephant.
Okay, well, lots of people do the white elephant gifts. That's not one. You got charades. You just do it Christmas charades.
Christmas festive, yeah.
Charades. Okay, so all right. Christmas Carol Pictionary relay. Okay, now that just sounds overly complicated. And what happens if you can't sing? Or does it have nothing to do with singing?
It does have. In order to play this game, players must get the name of the song from the game organizer and draw out their song. Like White Christmas, Jingle Bells.
Okie dokie then.
Jingle Bell Rock would be fun. That'd be cool. Christmas Carol Bingo.
Bingo. Hey, they're starting bingo down at the community center, by the way. Stocking guessing game.
You surprise your guests with the stockings full of odd objects and have them guess what is in the stocking. Ouch. You can feel the stocking but can't look inside. When the game is over, let the winner with the most correct guesses keep the stocking. Name that Christmas song.
Alrighty then.
You divide up into 2 or 3 groups, and you challenge teams to write down the name of a Christmas tree after you say one line of the song out loud.
Oh, name that tune? That's what that's from. Okay.
Yeah.
Christmas movie trivia. I would suck at that. Christmas Mad Libs would be at least intriguing because you could be all wacky.
That's a printable. You can find that online.
Yeah.
Gift wrap relay. Host a gift wrap relay this holiday season by dividing your guests into 2 teams. You can then set aside 2 tables at opposite ends of the room with unwrapped gifts and wrapping paper supplies. Guests then race one by one to their respective tables and wrap the gifts as fast as possible. This game's end with the winning team finishing out wrapping all of their gifts.
It seems to me like a lazy way for the host to get their presents wrapped.
That too.
Now, unless you're giving them to like charity or children or something, wrapping them for children, then that'd be kind of cool. Right? That's a cool way to do that. Right? If you've got a warehouse full of toys you need to wrap for the children. All right, might as well have some fun with it, right? They're going to be appreciative. They don't have to be perfect. Let's go. All right, candy cane relays.
Okay. You have a big bowl of candy canes, and you take one candy cane and you try and hook out and get out as many candy canes as you can.
This is like bobbing for apples, but
the catch is you have to put the candy cane in your mouth.
Yes, it's like bobbing for apples, but different. Okay.
Yes. Christmas card swap. Bring 2 to 3 Christmas cards from when you were a child for this fun icebreaker game. And then you put them up and people guess who it is and this kind of thing. That's a fun game.
Sure. I'm skeptical, but okay.
Christmas cookie decorating. That's more for children. Gingerbread house decorating. Oh, shoot me.
Just stop with gingerbread houses. Can we just stop with gingerbread houses?
No one eats them. Why do we do them?
I don't know. Because I don't know.
Okay, I understand the kit for children and letting them do it as a holiday tradition. And it's a fun activity. They're off of school for 2 weeks. You got to do something with them.
Well, that's how the tradition keeps going. Stop it. Then as adults, you want to think back at this. Oh, how isn't that nice? Then they get the, oh, no, it wasn't nice. Why did we do these things? Stop it. Stop spreading that damn tradition. Stop it. It's an eye. Just throw the food away. It decomposes in the thing. It's fine.
Arts and craft. A personalized Christmas ornament is a good idea. Tree decorating. Make a Christmas card.
Mm-hmm. Christmas card crafts. Yeah.
Christmas carol.
Christmas karaoke. Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, we need to go back to Christmas carols.
Okay, from people who can sing are great. That's fine.
Who can't sing Jingle Bells?
Do you want me to show you?
Yes.
No, because we'll lose what few viewers we do have.
Christmas karaoke.
Christmas photo booth. All right, that'd be fun.
That'd be fun. Have Santa. Elf ears, Santa hats, candy canes, anything.
Yeah, or green screen or something
Green screen, yeah.
that you can play off of. That'd be all right.
Okay.
All right, so that is your Christmas list from Lubby this week.
Yes, and also you can find on our website top 5 Christmas vacation destinations in the United States and top 10 destinations for a Merry Christmas throughout the world. Just for a fun little fantasy thing, or maybe plan your next vacation.
And so what's going on next week here at LateNightLove.us if you want to be technical?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet? You don't know yet? I do know. Lubby's going to get her Christmas present next week.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right on here, live on air. So you guys don't want to miss that, really. Trust me. You guys really don't want to miss that one. So if you want to tune in and see, should we do it at the top of the hour? I'll have to think about that while we finish the show. And see, I'll let you guys know at the end of the show what part of the show I'm going to give her the present on. All right. Maybe probably at the top, but we'll think. Maybe make her wait just for the heck of it.
You're evil.
All right. So there you go. Let's get started off. You've got parenting up here at the top.
Yes, I do. And this poor man, he writes in, I hate Christmas, not for the holiday itself, because I'm not allowed to give my kids something without people getting annoyed or mad at me. Every single time it's, why don't you just wait until Christmas? Or, that could have been a Christmas gift. Why should I have to wait?
You shouldn't. Tell everybody to stuff it. Or better yet, just ignore them. You know, when you reach the point in your life where their opinions no longer matter, that's when you become happiest. They're reflecting their world onto you, not your world. Enjoy your world. If you want to give your kids presents year-round, if your family understands that's your routine, then it's fine. You know, it's not about the gift on Christmas Day. It's not the thing. It's that you're showing your love and care for those you care about. And if you do it a week before Christmas or a month before Christmas or a couple weeks after Christmas, because that happens to be where the economics lay, or maybe not at all, and all you can give them is time. That's the greatest gift of all, right? So don't worry about what other people are thinking. You know, just do you. They have their traditions, you have yours. And you go, that's nice. I'm glad you enjoy living life like that way. Great. This is how we do it. And just move on. Don't think too much about them. This would be my suggestion. Okay.
My kids are now 5 and 3, so we go to a lot of classmates' birthday parties. At the end of each and every one of them, our kids receives a goodie bag full of some candy, which is fine, and a random assortment from what I call CPG, or cheap plastic junk. Why is this junk so popular?
Because it's cheap while still giving the impression that you're, giving some gift, even though it's really not. It's just stuff you're going to throw away or take up space.
They do that cheap plastic junk can serve as a toy that a child actually plays with and likes.
Could be, but most often not. Just give them the candy and move on. The candy's actually enough. Don't give them the cheap plastic. If you're buying it at the dollar store, it's just don't buy it. Give them candy, something they'll actually like and enjoy, and it's not just going to take up space in a landfill later on. That's what I would be saying. But if you want to, they asked why it was popular, and that's why it's popular, because it's cheap and readily available. And they want to give you a gift. You accept it in the intentions that it was, the spirit that it was given. And then you just throw them away when it's broken tomorrow. Okay. What's next?
Okay. I was denied my Christmas bonus because of a technicality, and we were really counting on it to pay for Christmas gifts for our kids and each other this year. It was a punch to the gut Friday when I found out I wouldn't get it. How do I explain to my children Christmas is going to be slim this year?
Well, really, it's going to depend how old your children are, how you deal with it. But first, the slimness of your Christmas should fall mostly on you and your wife, because that's what parents do. So whatever resources you have for Christmas should go all to your children. And your children should have already been raised to accept what they're able to get. And so it really shouldn't be a thing, especially if they're young. If they're teenagers, you may have to have a discussion. Hey, there's no money for big gifts this year. Maybe in January or February we'll think of something. That's how I had to deal with it. So you just be honest and upfront with them, because it's their expectations. You don't want to set expectations that are then not met. So, and if they're young, they like what they get. And hopefully you have an extended family, large extended family, and so they still come away with plenty of gifts. But if not, remember, the biggest gift on Christmas is you and them. It's not the trinkets they get. But I do have a hint for you. Don't buy them clothes.
Yeah.
Try and find it on something they actually want, so they will accept one present if it's, so avoid clothes if you can. That would be my one suggestion. Get them a toy, get them something they are asking for if you can. Or maybe get them a group gift, a gaming system or something that all of them can use. I've had to do that a couple times where I can't afford to get all of you something. I mean, to get each of you something, but I can't afford to get all of you something. So, yeah. And if you've raised your kids right, you have a proper family, it's not a problem. They accept it, and it's just normal for them. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way life is. It's how you feel and reflect on that. So just be okay with it, because it's the way it is. You can't change it, so you're just going to have to deal with it. And that's the gift you can give them this year. Don't take a bad situation and make it worse. Don't go into debt that you can't afford. Okay.
My 14-year-old was caught vaping at school. 1-day school suspension. She is generally a very good kid and only occasionally gets in trouble, once every couple of years. She is obviously apologetic and claims it was her first time. Thoughts on how to respond to this?
Well, it could have been her first time, but if it was her vape, it wasn't. But also, I'm not entirely sure. How do you deal with it? Well, I don't know. I wouldn't make too much of a deal about it, because frankly, you have a tendency to push them farther into it. But that's also something you have to know your daughter and their circumstances and why she's feeling the need. She's trying to fit in. She thinks she's dealing with stress. What's the underlying? She's just trying it to be cool. What's going to happen, which will pass. There's, you just have to know. I can't sit here and say here is a single way to deal with it, because there's not. Children are individual. Circumstances are individual. And, and you have to make a decision about which risks you want to run. Is there a risk to health with vaping? Yes, there is. Is there a risk to addiction? Yes, there is. If you come down too hard on her, is there a risk to her rebelling and going down paths that she otherwise wouldn't have gone down? Yes, there is. And you have to balance all these things. And no one sitting here can tell you to do anything but proceed carefully. Open the lines of communication and keep talking. I wouldn't make rash decisions. Talk to her about it.
Yes.
Actual genuine conversation, not lectures. And that's hard for parents to do. But that's what you have to do. Kind of a non-judgmental conversation. Because otherwise she's going to, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So you don't want to push her into rebellion. That's my suggestion. Is maybe if vaping is the big worst type of rebellion she's going to give you, then maybe you think you're lucky stars. But again, it's something I can't tell you from here. These are those tough calls that parents have to deal with every day. And it's your turn. We wish you the best of luck. But the best of ways, approach it calmly and with empathy and compassion. Maybe she's trying to fit in. Maybe she's feeling anxious. She's trying to deal with it. And because she's a teenager, she's still not dealing with it properly or sideways, whatever. You'll find out. But it's not a 1 hour conversation. It's a conversation that's going to have 20 minutes today, 30 minutes tomorrow, 40 minutes next week, 10 minutes, the day after that. And that's how these conversations are going to go.
Okay. Now we move on to some work questions.
Alrighty.
How am I supposed to survive the workload of college and a future 9-to-5 if I can barely keep up with high school? Oh, you poor thing.
But because working on your 9-to-5 is this thing called different. You're paid to be there at 9 to 5, and then you do this thing called go home. And you don't have this thing called homework at work. Now, some people take their work home, which don't know why you would do that, but if you're salaried, there's a different question. But for the most part, right, especially your first jobs, you're not going to be taking a lot of work home. Right? You can't wash the dishes from McDonald's at home. Right? There's just a certain amount of things you can't do at home. I mean, I can't do my job from home, even though there's parts of it I can. But I'm more efficient at work. So when you're home, you're home. Unlike school, where you go to school all day, then you come home and you study and just for school tomorrow, and you're spending 12-hour days through university. Or when you're in high school, you're spending an hour on the bus both ways getting to and from school. I mean, and you're in school to learn how to do things, so you're not efficient yet, despite what you might think. You're not good at anything yet. You're not. You're still learning. It takes a long time to become fast at things. Right? That's what experience gets you is fast, is quickly. And so when you're 30, you're much faster at your jobs and tasks than you were at your 20. I mean, unless your jobs are purely physical, like, baling hay or something. Right? 20-year-olds are better at baling hay than 35-year-olds, right? But if it talks about processing information and repeating processes, 35s will kick your butt because they've been doing it a long time. They've learned a lot. They've learned how to do a job that would take someone who's 20 2 hours, make it take 30 minutes. I just read the story today. It's about there was a ship that engine had stopped working. His old diesel engine had stopped working. And so they had to scrounge up this old diesel mechanic because no one could fix it. And he came in there, he poked around for about 30 minutes, took out a hammer, banged on one spot, and it started working again. And then he billed him for $10,000. And he says, "You were spent 30 minutes there. How can you bill me for $10,000?" He says, "No, I built you $10,000. I built you $9,998 for the experience for me to get it done in 30 minutes. See, what you paid for is me knowing what to look for, so I know where to bang on it. You didn't actually pay me to come and bang on it. You came to help me to figure it out how quickly it is to do it quickly. You could have had someone take the whole thing apart and figure it out eventually, but you didn't have time. So I saved you a boatload of money, so pay me my 10 grand." And it's the same way, right? If a less experienced engineer would have had to take the whole thing apart. I mean, they'd run engineering in and out of there, and they couldn't fix it. So it's the experience. And it's the same thing. When you get to be in college and you get to your regular 9-to-5 job, you will know how to better navigate your life. You'll be better with time management. You'll make better decisions. You'll
know yourself better.
And you'll know your material. You'll have learned. It won't take you so long to process information because you'll have been taught how to do it quickly. And you'll have been practiced how to do it quickly.
Yes.
Because it's not just being taught how to do it quickly, it's practicing how to do it quickly. All right, what's next?
Okay. I was let go back in May from an organization I bent over backwards for while being underpaid. They have been promising to bring me back as a temp, but have basically been stringing me along with the prospect of work for nearly 2 months now. What is a reasonable reaction?
To move on and get a different job. I don't understand why this is complicated. They've already shown you they didn't want you. They're just trying to be nice. They're not really stringing you on. They're just not competent to tell you that, maybe they respect you as a human being, but they don't need your services anymore. Who knows what it is. They just don't want to be blunt. And so rather than telling you you're no longer needed, they said, yeah, maybe we can find you work later on, but they're not going to have work for you later on. That's why they let you go. So it's time to move on. Are they being, incompetent about the way they're going about it? Yes. Yeah, clearly. But, it's time for you to take charge of your own life and get your resume together, go on LinkedIn or whatever your jobs boards of choice are, and start finding the next job. And it's okay, because you know what? The best way to get a big pay raise is to change jobs. So you'll be all right. Okay.
I turned down a promotion at work, and now the manager wants to speak to me about why. I feel uncomfortable doing this. How do I get out of it?
You don't. You just go tell him the truth. He may be curious, right? He wants to know why. It doesn't mean you're in trouble. I get being anxious about it. Trust me, I really do. It's like being called into the principal's office. You just don't want to do it. But, he may want you, he may think it's good for your career. He may be trying to look out for you. And in a sense, you don't want the responsibility, and that's fine. You just have to tell them, I just don't want the responsibility. I'm happy with my job. I had a friend in high school whose dad was a computer programmer for a state department. And he kept offering him promotions, and he kept saying, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. Because he just wanted to go in, do his job, and go home. He didn't want the responsibility of being a supervisor or a manager. He just wanted to sit behind his desk and program his code. That's all he wanted to do. He didn't want to be responsible for other people. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? He was perfectly happy where he was. And if that's your response, just tell them that. If I didn't feel comfortable in that position, I don't feel qualified, whatever it is, just tell them that, because that's actually what they're looking for. They're looking for the truth. So just tell them the truth. Nothing bad's going to happen. They're just curious. Maybe because they like you and they care about you and they want you to succeed. That might be the reason. And they're curious as to why you're not on the same path. And once they find out, then, they'll find out. Maybe they have more faith in you than you have in yourself. Maybe you should talk to a therapist about that. Okay,
we're going to go into relationships. I don't know how to move on from a 5-year relationship which ended this morning. Where do I go from here?
Well, it ended this morning. You go nowhere. Allow yourself to grieve. It's the only answer at the moment. A relationship ended this morning. It doesn't seem to me like you're panning for it to continue, but you still have to allow yourself to grieve. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to move past it too quickly. Allow it. The pain's going to be there, so allow it to sit, because that's how you get through it faster. Don't fight it. Almost in a sense, become friends with it, and then move on, because you already know that's what you have to do. But that's my suggestion on these kinds of things. Feel the pain, feel the grief, allow yourself to mourn. And pick a date. You know how long you should mourn before you personally start getting bad for yourself. Most of us do. Whether it's give yourself 24 hours, some people 72 hours, some people maybe a week, right? To kind of.
My mother always said, give yourself 3 days.
Yeah, have your pity party for a few days.
Yeah.
Right. Allow yourself that, but give it a limit, and then you just start putting your life back together as not even back together. You start piecing your new life. Start going down the path that is your new life now. Because your relationship is an end of a path that you were on. And so now you've got this path that you weren't thinking about before that you've got to wander down. And it's tough. But whatever you think of right now isn't going to be reality. So feel your pity party, go through the grieving process. And once you start getting out the other side, once you do that, once you've allowed yourself to feel, then you'll start, seeing where you want to go. You'll start either picking up at old hobbies again and going back to things that you felt comfortable with, or maybe you'll feel adventurous and want to go out and try new things. And I don't know which ones you're going to want, right? At some point, you'll want one or the other, right? You'll go back and pick up old hobbies, maybe go back, pick up an instrument you used to play, or, whatever it is, take up painting again, whatever your artistic expression was, or maybe you'll go off and try skydiving or, or rock climbing or something, who knows?
Become a gym bunny.
Who knows? You'll do something to start finding looking for yourself again, that sense of self again, and then you'll find it, and then before you know it, life will just be life again. So it'll happen. So, but for the next week or so, I feel for you. We're here for you. Well, metaphorically speaking.
Yes.
Metaphysical speaking. I don't get that one confused. Okay, what's next?
Okay, my best friend led my boyfriend to believe I wanted to baby trap him. How do I convince him I never even thought about doing that?
By just not trying too hard. To be honest, the only way you're going to convince them by not doing that is you say kind of that's silly and you just kind of move on. And right, and if he doesn't believe you, then that's a different issue. And my question is, why would your best friend try to convince him that he was baby trapping?
That's not your friend, my dear.
Yeah, that's certainly not a best friend. Well, unless, of course, that best friend thinks there's something wrong with him and she's actually trying to protect you by driving him off. But that's a different discussion. I mean, there is a reason that might happen,
Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. She's jealous.
Well, her best friend may be jealous, but it could just be protecting, right? Maybe she secretly knows the guy is a scoundrel, and so she's just trying to, or a playboy, and so she's trying
the games we play.
Yeah, so who knows? Rather than just talking to her friend about it, she tries to scare him off. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what the reasons are? But you can't actually do anything because it's one of these goofy positions where the harder you try to convince them, it just makes you seem guilty. It's one of those things. It's almost a no-win situation, right? The only real way to deal with it is to just kind of treat it as the silliness that it is and move on. And if he doesn't treat it the same way, then you're not on the same plane, and it's a different discussion. What that discussion goes, I can't tell you, but it's a different discussion to have. Okay, what's next?
Do I, female 21, let my ex, male 22, know that his mom was the reason for our breakup? She was horrible to me.
Well, you could. I mean, if you need to, or if you're trying to get back together for some reason. But if you're generally broken up and it's over, I also don't see the point. You probably should have told him that before you broke up. Would have been the better time to have the discussion. I mean, assuming she didn't. I mean, it seems to me at this point, it's too late. It's water under the bridge. And you might be better off just moving on. You're still carrying it around. Now, maybe telling him helps you get it off your shoulders. And, maybe you're still friendly enough where it's an okay conversation. But I always suggest that when you split, you just split. Kind of going back, it rarely gives you the closure or what you're looking for. It rarely does.
It rarely does.
So be careful. I mean, before you do, understand what you really want out of it. I would suspect is probably a better way for me to describe that. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to move on. I have 2 sex questions I'd like to end with tonight.
All right, so we got a few minutes. We'll do it. Okay.
Okay, her sex face is very sexy. I love seeing it, and she looks different when we're having sex than when we aren't, if that makes sense. But when we make eye contact during sex, she has a curious look. What the heck is she thinking?
How am I supposed to know that? I don't know what women think when they're in that. I don't know.
A curious look?
It's hard to judge what people are actually going on behind sex faces because they're just weird.
I've been told I have a curious look, and I'm just looking at the person and totally getting into them.
So my guess is it's probably not a curious look face. It's just
she's all intense, dude.
Sex faces are weird, and your emotions are weird, and so it's probably not a curious look. It would be my actual guess. You're just misinterpreting the look because of the circumstances. That would be my guess. So how's that for an answer? It's my best guess because hell if I know. I don't even know what I'm thinking during sex. So come on now. All right.
Next question. A girl just canceled our second date because I didn't have a sex face. What is a sex face?
Well, this is the second question we had a sex face. My assumption is that to her, you look goofy during sex, but how is she going to find that out on a one date? Or is she assuming what your sex face is going to look like? I'm not sure exactly what the hell that means.
What is a sex face? Were you making out and she didn't like the way you were looking at her or something? Did you have sex on the first date?
Yeah, maybe they had sex on the first date and she didn't like the way his facial expression was, unlike the last one where you found her cute with her sex face is cute and she didn't find your sex face cute. That's what that one might mean.
We are getting too freaking selective. We're getting too damn picky. We're ditching people because of how their face twists up during orgasm. What the hell?
What, you think we're any different now than we've ever been in the species of humanity? Doggy style was invented for a reason, woman. Come on. Just say it.
I don't want to see that face.
We still need children, though. And I actually kind of like you. So it's, hey, humans are weird, man. Don't judge. Because it's just the way life is. And, it's in this time of year when we all think about, good and bad and spending time with each other and what is love and all that stuff that goes along with Christmas. And then that shortly follows to the new year where we all think about rebirth and redoing and rejuvenation. It's a interesting time of year. And I think we all should maybe spend some more time thinking about it. A little more time in contemplation. I think is a good thing to do for this time of year. I think the cold weather, the long, dark nights are conducive to that. So for our Christmas suggestion is to spend some time with yourself. Give a gift to yourself, a gift of time. That's what I would do. And join us next week for Lubby. She gets her Christmas gift. We'll do it at the top of the hour just for fun, so Lubby can...
Oh, yeah, I don't have to wait.
She doesn't have to wait. I won't torture her. I love her too much to torture. And with that, we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Have a good evening. And please remember oops, wrong mouse. Please remember one of these days I'm going to get all this right, to love everybody.
Good night.
Oh, wait, there it is.